Hey yo, everybody. Welcome to the stream. DJ Fermi here, back once again. With the ill behavior, nothing can save ya. Still grinding the Shadow Priest. 49, we're here in Duskwall. I don't know what we're up to. And Sargon of Akkad was just milkshaked in Totness. I guess that's how you say it. So I'm watching this live stream. I got 3.5 hours here of fucking debate. Probably a lot of people agreeing with him. I want to see him just disagree. It's getting pretty savage. So that's what I'm into right now. Because I gotta grind. I gotta fucking get this character done. So this will take a while, obviously. So, hey, you wanna hear some Sargon? Then there's that for you.
Nice to see the middle classes out protesting against other people's freedom of speech. It's always nice to see that.
Ooh.
Very popular opinion outside of your bubble, that. It's going to make you very popular.
Don't attack. Sorry, Sargon.
It's nice that the fascist is announcing himself there, isn't it? So, what do I hate? You're opposing hate. What do I hate?
It's really quiet.
Hey, lady. What do I hate? What do I hate? What do I hate? You don't know anything about me. You don't know. That's why you don't. Of course you can't, because then you might become educated. Then you might learn something.
Ooh, shit.
I'm sorry? Bullying women. It seems like you're bullying me. Am I bullying you, or are you bullying me?
So I'm supposed to get Brood of Elixir.
I am, yeah, that's right. You don't have to talk if you don't want to talk. Not one person in this crowd can define fascism. Not one.
Oof. I mean, it is a pretty bold claim, Sargon.
Not one person knows what a fascist is.
I mean...
Is here. Oh, apart from me, actually. I know what a fascist is. I know because... You guys don't know what fascists are. Oh, sorry, do you mind holding? Hello. Thank you. Well, I'm best. I'm my very... Stand back.
Anyways,
You gotta stand out of the way, man. Yeah, I really wish they'd come and talk to me too, because I think we could have a proper conversation. What? What happened there?
So where am I supposed to go?
She dived. Oh,
Oh, Tanaris.
surprise. What a surprise. Someone creating a fake crime against themselves. Surprise.
Nice
Yeah.
microphone, Sargon. Hope you fix it. People will just want to leave if you can't talk.
So, let's talk about fascism. Does anyone know what fascism is? I will. Fascism is a totalitarian.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
Let's bring this a bit more central. Sorry, we got to make
What
that
a
central. Right.
frustrating
Fascism.
microphone.
Fascism, let me explain to you. A history teacher, define fascism.
You're a fascist.
Wrong.
Wrong.
Well, yes. It's the term you're looking for, lady, is totalitarian. It's totalitarian. Now, I am a limited government kind of guy. I'm a libertarian. I want less government interference in my life, not more.
Destroyed.
So, call me a fascist. You can't. So now you have said that all of your
Hold
friends
on,
are
hold on.
idiots.
I want to see her
They
face
don't know
again.
anything. You can't. So now interference in my life, not
I hope he debates her.
more. So how
I think he does.
could you call me a fascist? You can't. So now you have said that all of your friends are idiots. They don't know anything about fascism. They don't know. No, that's not. A fascist? I'm asking for it. I've come here for political debate. I have come here for political debate.
And I guess she said a fascist shuts down political debate, which, I mean, okay.
You are the fascists here.
Oh, shit.
You are trying to shut me down. I'm here for debate. I would love to, but we can't.
Hey, you can't call her a fascist. That's what we're here to call you. What are you doing here?
Let them back off. Then back off. Back off, and we can talk. Back off. Ever right? Let's get us some space. Come on. Let's, like civilized human beings, let's make...
And I want, to my one viewer, I just want to remind you, this is after the guy speaking had a milkshake just poured over top of him by one of these protesters here.
Some space. Let's make some space. I will. Make some space. Make some space. And she can speak. Then get back. Make some space. Let's hear what she has to say. Let the lady talk. You are preventing the lady from talk. Well,
don't worry, you'll be fine.
I know I don't want to be on.
Why can't you oppose me? Why are you afraid of opposing me?
Whew.
But why? What's wrong
You're really
with that?
putting her on the spot, you know.
You're giving it to the fascists, are you not? Well, yeah, but I don't understand why you're not allowed to engage in public dialogue.
I am, but I have to stop.
Yeah, but you won't be in trouble.
Aw, the lady's she's really shy. Okay?
Why would you be in trouble? You won't be in trouble for telling me I'm wrong. Come on. Okay, well, thanks. But at least we can agree that I'm not a fascist if I'm for limited government. At least we can agree that. As a history teacher, you must know that.
She will not agree to anything.
Define neo-fascism. Well, as in, I think constitutional government.
Where's this Tenaris ledger?
As in, I want limited powers and accountable politicians. That's why I'm here talking to people, because I want accountability. You guys can come and hold me accountable for the things you think I've said.
How would you limit the power of politicians? What would you
Oh,
do?
definitely via constitutional... basically, I'd like the United States of America, a written constitution. So a historic constitution has been nice, but it requires a kind of culture of good faith,
Isn't
and I
that
think
what
we've lost
the
that.
EU has given us with all our human rights laws and so on?
Yeah, well,
we got that.
we
And
wrote
we've already
those.
got a constitution come up through our history.
Well, yeah, but the
So
thing is...
actually,
Hang on.
We
It's
don't
not-
need one. We've
it's
got
not-
one defined by our
Yeah, but
laws.
it's actually not, because ours is a historic constitution. It's not actually clearly defined, and so we don't have constitution. No, listen.
It's
Listen.
really clear
I will
defined.
explain.
You're mansplaining her. You can't give her a microphone and ask her to be quiet.
Right? What it requires is a certain level of good faith when it comes to interpretation. I believe we've lost that, which is why we now have hate speech laws infringing on free speech. Now, you might not like the things that are said that hate speech laws are catching, but that certainly is a violation of our principles of free speech, which are codified in our laws, in our historic constitution, as you say. Another one is the sovereignty of Parliament. We don't get to set our own immigration rules. That's actually set by directives from the European Union. That is overriding the sovereignty of Parliament, and that means that Parliament is not sovereign, which is actually a legal problem. There's currently a legal challenge in the courts over this very issue. So at the end of the day, you can sit there and say fascist, 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 but I'm a constitutionalist, I'm a Democrat, I want limited government. Nothing about what I'm saying comes from the socialist or fascist traditions. I'm a liberal, a very strong liberal at that. And that's something that, honestly, the progressives...
You can't call yourself a liberal. You're a
Well, what am I saying?
fascist.
It's not liberal.
We have our own
Yeah, but it's-
democratic institutions.
You're a fascist.
But they're becoming
Hundreds of
politicized.
years. You're imposing something on us that we don't need.
No, I think we do need this. I think that you guys are an exact proof that we need this. Yeah, but the fact that you're trying to stop me
We're
from
a very
doing any of
different
this.
country from the United States. The United States is a massive country with lots and lots of
Yes.
states. It's a federal government.
Yes.
We don't need that. We're a
Well, I
small
didn't say we should be the United
But
States.
you're saying about a constitution, and as soon as
Yes.
you start talking about freedom of speech and impingement of
Don't you think that the whole constitutional system would maybe work better for smaller governments, even like big governments gets where you get all the waste and the fat. Small is when it's more efficient.
freedom of speech, you're then imposing your own ideas about what.
Can I help you, you fat piece of shit cat? Can I help you?
I disagree with you that
Come on,
we,
come on,
I
get
think
on
we
me.
should have freedom of
Get on me, you fucking fat piece of
You
shit.
clearly
Come on.
I believe
but you
freedom
agree
of
with hate speech.
Everyone loves your tail.
I don't believe that we should say things that don't hurt people or inflame their opinions.
How can a
So
word hurt
it
someone?
has to be it's freedom of speech with responsibilities. We have to have responsibility for what we
Well,
say.
we do have responsibility.
But then that's not true. But then your definition of freedom of speech, it's already there. Why are you trying to change
But it's
something
not. It's
that
actually
works
being
really
suppressed.
well?
It's not working
No,
really.
it's not being suppressed.
There are thousands of
You
people.
are saying
No, it is
inflammatory
being
things
suppressed.
about.
Wow.
No, you're not allowed to do it.
Yes, I am. I'm allowed to say that. I am absolutely allowed.
You
Do you
Look
know
at
how I
this
know I'm allowed?
amazing.
Because I wasn't
Because of
arrested.
hate speech.
I wasn't arrested.
Oh,
It
well,
wa-
that makes it okay.
No, I'm not. They're not contacted. It's lies from the media. No one has contacted me.
And that's the sort of thing Trump would say as
Yeah,
well.
but
Lies from
do you
the
trust the
media.
media? No,
Some
you
of it,
don't.
Because
Don't be
actually, I
silly.
think the BBC actually are very much
All right.
UKIP supporters. They keep
You,
putting
the
Farage.
BBC are UKIP supporters.
They keep putting Farage on and all sorts.
Farage isn't a
They're
part of UKIP.
socialists. So it's he was though, wasn't
Yeah, but
he?
he's
I mean,
not now.
it's
But
UKIP in a
come
different
on,
colours.
come on. No one's going to
Come
say that
on.
BBC supports
Yeah,
UKIP.
well, they are.
That's
they are
ridiculous. That is
more- they are
ridiculous
more
on the
leaning
face of it.
towards that. Anyway,
That's ridiculous.
regardless of
90%
that,
of BBC coverage has been pro-Remain. Look at any BBC Question Time. It's Remain, communist, conservative.
And why do they take?
Yes, you must. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, absolutely. Well, I totally agree. I hate the BBC. I think we should get rid of the license fee, frankly.
Woo!
But the idea of freedom of speech, it actually does allow me to say things that offend people. That's the point. And it
It's
really
not
is, as
like that.
George Orwell said.
Freedom of a speech with responsibility.
Well, there are
It has to
responsibilities,
be.
but nothing I've said has been
Not
illegal.
to offend people.
No, that's
But
not
you've
true.
been
That's
on
not
the
true.
edge of it
No,
illegal.
no, not at all. I totally
You've
agree
been
with
on the
George
edge of
Orwell on this.
illegal.
If freedom of speech is to mean anything at all, it must mean the right to offend. It must.
No,
Because otherwise we're
I
not free, and it's your
disagree.
feelings that
I
are tyrannizing me. Yeah, I know, because you're a tyrant. You want me
I
to
am a
stop talking
tyrant.
for your feelings. I don't care about your feelings. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I don't care about your feelings.
I think you just managed to say what you actually represent.
Yes,
well
yes,
done.
free
You just
speech.
said you don't care about my
No,
feelings.
but you don't
as
care
a
about mine.
politician.
You don't care about my
yeah,
feelings.
but I'm not a politician.
Yeah, but you are intimidating me along with all of these other people.
Yeah,
Do you not think that I should
think
feel
you just
intimidated?
said what you needed to say about
Yes, I did. Thank you. Yes, well done. I love demonstrating the tyranny of the middle classes. It's wonderful watching you demand other people shut up for your feelings. Yes, sir. Oh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, please get the microphone.
Aw. These guys are so scared.
I want to give him a mic. He won't take it. Get your bloody facts in order. Okay, I'll take it back. Thank you. I'm sorry, but it's necessary. I want everyone to hear what you're saying. I don't just hear my side of the story.
I'm hearing a lot of contradictions from what you're saying. You're
Yes.
saying about, you're talking about freedom of expression, you're talking about freedom of speech, and
Yes.
yet your ideology towards so many facets of our society is filled with so much
Well,
prejudice.
what's my ideology?
If you got
Well, hang on,
into
hang on,
power,
hang on, hang on,
would
hang on,
you
hang on,
afford
hang on.
these same freedoms? Would you afford the same freedoms to us if
What-
you were in power?
What do you
It's
think
a question.
you're doing here?
It's a
Hang
question.
on.
It's a question.
Right. I'm giving you a platform right here. I'm recording this. I'll put this out to the world. Yes, I will give you the right to free speech because I can't take that away
Because
from you.
I'm a white man. That's why.
Oh!
That's why you're
That's
giving me the
awful.
freedom.
That's
If I was a
awful.
Muslim, if I was
Of
a
course I would
homosexual, if
talk
I was
to
a
you.
woman,
Ooh!
the same respect.
Wow! What? Whew. Whoa! Oh, lordy lord! Whew. Oh my god!
Would you?
Spoke to a woman. That's an awful racist thing to say. That's absolutely disgraceful. We'll talk to anyone about anything.
So
how
answer my
dare-
question.
No, how dare you? What? I'm literally. What? Would I afford free speech to people who aren't me?
Would you afford free speech?
Mike.
Would you afford free speech in the same way that you have been sat and talking about freedom of expression, like we're suppressing it?
Yes.
I think if you were in
Yes.
power, you wouldn't afford that the same
Why
right.
would I not? Why would I do it now? Why would I do it now?
Because you're not in power.
Wrong. That's you talking, not me. I am for free speech for every. What I want to do is Section 127 of the Communications Act. That is the thing that is suppressing free speech in this country. Everyone has a right to free speech. It is one of our inalienable rights, and it is being suppressed. So no, I would not take it away. I'm an activist for it. I'm giving you a platform, despite their best attempts to stop me.
Great microphone.
I am going to carry on giving a platform to people as much as I am able. Don't sit there and say that I wouldn't do it just because you're a white man. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. You should be ashamed of saying that. Why do you say it so blasé?
How do you say everything that you've said so blasé?
Because I mean it. I really mean it.
You mean it when you make these comments?
Well, when I make jokes, yes. I stand by my jokes.
You stand by your jokes.
Right. Thank you. I'm sorry, I can't hear what you're saying. You're going to have to use this.
I can't hear what you're saying.
Well, have fun. Thank you. Right. Is there anyone else who would like to talk? Like this man was wrong on, I would like to provide people a platform to air their views. That's what I've done in every city so far, and that's what I plan to do here despite the fascists. So, is there anyone who would like to talk to me who disagrees with me? We must have a few people around here who disagree with me. Can we talk like reasonable adults? Can we talk like reasonable adults? Oh,
No.
fascists, let us talk.
Do you want to talk? Oh, ladies.
Oh, yes, please. Right, thank you. I don't suppose we've got a bottle of water around or anything.
Thank you.
In fact, my tea is just there. Sorry, I've got a bit of a dry throat from all the shouting. I do apologize.
So I know you talk to people who disagree with you, and I'm not sure that I fully fall into that camp, but an interesting
That's
camp.
okay.
So I came from a very left-wing background
Sorry.
and would have happily swallowed the pill that told me you were racist,
Yes.
a bigot, all that, up until about a year and a half ago. Then I swallowed the red pill, so to speak, and now I find myself vehemently fighting for the right of freedom of speech. But also, I'm curious as to why there's this huge divide, because I find myself standing with one foot in each camp, if you like, angry and confused as to why the two camps are so far
That
away
map.
from each other. Do you have any explanation for that?
Honestly, I think that the explanation might be very
Media.
long, complicated and academic. on
Yeah.
that. And I don't think it's something I can really get into right now while we've got such an audience.
That's a real shame.
But yeah, it is a real shame, isn't it? But I've got plenty of this on my channel, which I'm sure you're aware of. But I want to know why these people think that what they're doing is acceptable. Because, I mean, I would never treat another person this way. You know, I'm trying to provide a platform for them to have their views aired. And yet they...
Maybe I'm in a unique position to be able
Please.
to enlighten you a little bit.
Yes,
Seems
please.
as for most of my life, I've been on that side of the fence.
Please do.
And
I'd love to hear.
it's a wounding, a sense of pain that people get hurt. Now, I understand that this is taking it so far that it then becomes wounding for this kind of dialogue, which I appreciate so greatly. But I wonder if there's any space in your platform and other people's like you platform to be able to hear and empathise with some of the pain that people go through.
There absolutely is, but it can't be done when they are so aggressive towards me. I have not come here aggressively towards them. I mean, I don't have the numbers here. Any of the anarchists left around? We can talk about how anarchy isn't going to solve any problems. I don't have a small... Oh, why not? Why are you so angry? Why are you so angry? You seem really angry. Okay, Mum. Come on, let's have a bit of a bants. Come on, it'll be fun. Come on. Sorry? Same here. Oh. Another one of our friendly neighborhood lefties has been very polite and genteel and kind.
Well, my glasses are ruined.
It was the Liberal Democrat who was very angry. Can we get a round of applause for the hero of the Liberal Democrats over there?
Smells better than the last one.
For assaulting one of our speakers.
It's the second time I've been covered in chocolate this week.
Army of people trying to intimidate someone. But I completely agree. I mean, if you... in the next few days, I'll have the other conversations we've had in other places, and I'll put them up. And you'll see that there... for example, I talked to a rape survivor yesterday, and she said, thank you for allowing me the freedom to joke about what happened to me. Because if you allow this to... If you allow this to control you, then it will dominate your life forever. And she said that she found that mocking something takes the power away from it. You know,
Yeah.
it takes it back to you.
Yeah.
You are the one who's in charge then. And suddenly, and then she was like, and this gave me a new lease on life. You know, and now she's got a fiance and she's moving on with her life because she found herself falling into the all men are like this, I hate all men, that kind of mentality, and she was becoming unhealthy in her words. And so it was one of those things. It's like, look, I understand that it can be unpleasant to have some jokes told, and I certainly wouldn't do it in certain contexts. But I think the right to be able to tell rude and unpleasant jokes is an important one that really does empower us as individuals. I honestly believe.
Yeah, I think it really straddles that divide exactly the divide I'm talking about. Yes, we can joke about rape,
Yes.
but with a sensitivity that allows people to heal rather than deepening those wounds.
There's always a context, and there's always a time and a place. I mean, if I was at a dinner party, of course I wouldn't do that. You know, that would be terribly inappropriate. But if I'm on my channel, which has got the sort of atmosphere of a comedy club, well, that's different, isn't it? You know, I mean, Jimmy Carr,
I guess
Frankie
there's some
Boyle.
confusion about Sargon Khan and
Yes.
Carl Benjamin, the person,
Absolutely.
the
And
political figure.
I'm probably responsible for that myself, and I think the media's had their own hand in that as well. But that's why I'm doing any of this. That's why.
So one question before I leave you in peace, Chris,
Yes.
is if there was a message that you'd like to leave Totnes with, Devon
Yes.
with, like beyond this, assume that all this miscommunication has been resolved in people's minds,
Yes.
and you actually want to deliver a message, what would that be?
We need to have calm and sensible dialogue. That's
Like
all.
what we're doing now.
Precisely. We need to actually engage in good faith with one another's positions. Because, I mean, when you're chanting fascist at someone, that is not an attempt to engage with them in good faith.
And it demeans the term as well.
Absolutely. And that's a genuine concern, because there are fascists. There are genuine fascists, and they will never say we need to talk.
No.
They will never say that.
No.
They will say we need to shut you up. And that is the worst thing you can do to democracy. Because Paul Joseph Watson actually said this best in an interview recently. He said that free speech is the lifeblood of democracy. And I really stand by that. It's our ability to talk that means we can actually facilitate the issues that need to be discussed. Because the only alternative is violence.
Yeah.
If we can't talk...
I don't think that message has really got through.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. If we can't talk, we'll talk shortly. We'll talk shortly. If I want. Sir. With the glasses, would you like to talk? Right, so before we start, what's your name, sir?
Dave.
You got
Dave.
Dave. Nice to meet you, Dave. How would you describe your politics?
I'm an anarchist.
Right. So you're what? Would you agree that that's a form of communism?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't believe in equality of distribution necessarily. I believe that market systems can be an equal form of distribution.
Really, that's really interesting. How could they be in equal form if they're done individually?
Well, for instance, you might have somebody who's living on a relatively
Do you mind if I put my
geographically remote
glasses on?
place.
Sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but I've got the sun right.
It's all the same. I'm wearing some. Yeah, you could have someone who's living in a geographically remote place. Doesn't make any sense for them to have their products taken off them in order to be distributed totally equally.
Mm-hmm.
As long as the fundamental principle is that people have to have enough to live, and that society is, capable and welcome to redistribute when it's clearly, unfair.
What?
Then I don't see that there's anything wrong.
What
with
was that?
How can anarchy facilitate that, though?
Well, anarchism is just the principle that people have the right to do what they want to do, providing it doesn't hurt other
That's
people.
called liberalism.
Liberalism to me.
It might to you.
No, man, that's anarchy. To Sargon, it's being free. To this guy, people being able to do what they want is anarchy.
It's an extreme form of liberalism, some have said, but that's not how I interpret it.
Well, no, that's an interesting way of putting it, an extreme form of liberalism, because I think the main drive behind liberalism is to give the individual self-determination. I
It's
think that's what
important
you're
that the
saying,
individual
isn't it?
has self-determination, yeah.
Yeah, but the question is then, how do you maintain law and order?
By social organisation. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. If someone commits a crime, then you have to act to deal with that in a positive way. I mean, it's not necessarily about imprisoning people. You have to recognise that if someone's hurting someone else, it's probably because they're ill.
But wouldn't you need like a police force to investigate that sort of thing?
You might have a community-based force that would do that sort of role. It would have to be elected by the whole of the population.
But I think that's actually how we run our police forces in local areas.
No, it's
Well,
it's
are
actually
the
not.
police they're not
elected, are they?
Well, no, they train. They go and train to.
Our sheriffs are elected, and then they hire all the police.
Become one.
That's not relevant to how they're like picked. That's not
Well,
relevant.
no, it's
at all.
volunteers.
Yeah, they're still not relevant though. I
But
mean,
would-
I'm
would
talking about
the-
election.
Yeah,
I'm
but would the
talking about
people
basing it on what
standing-
people want.
Would the people standing also not be volunteers?
Yeah, they would have to be volunteers, of course.
So the only real difference I can see here is that you'd like an election on anyone who was volunteering to become a policeman.
Well, a consensus principle,
I'm
but
not
this
against
is
the
on
idea.
a very
I'm
this is
not
a very
against the idea.
specific point.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, I'm not saying it doesn't need to be discussed, because I think there might be merit to that, because I agree with you that there are definitely some policemen who are doing it for the power and not for the responsibility
Power
to
corrupts.
the community.
Absolute
And
power corrupts, absolutely.
Absolutely, Lord Acton was completely correct. And so it's one of those things where
That
I
wasn't
agree
Lord
that
Acton, but
Sorry?
that's not Lord Acton.
It is
it's
Lord
close
Acton.
to Lord Acton, but it's not Lord Acton.
Well,
Lord
he said
Acton
power
said
corrupts and
power,
absolute
power has a tendency to corrupt. Is the
that
Lord
tendency,
Acton
yeah.
quote, yeah.
Sorry, yeah. Good correction. But I do agree with you that there's definitely a need for accountability, and I do think that's actually.
Oh,
really
this is a
interesting
smart
relating to
dude.
volunteers. As in, like
This fucking anarchist had the black mask on. This guy was fucking ready to fight. Holy shit. At least he's debating. Dave.
About accountability, what makes it okay for you to say the things that you've said when it comes to normalising rape?
my free speech as an Englishman.
I don't think that. What about accountability for your free speech as an Englishman?
You are right here holding me accountable.
Yes, I am. And
Yeah.
the
You
rest
won't
of the
get other
anti-fascist
politicians doing
protesters
this,
here
will you?
are also, and that's because they don't want to
The
hear those
fascist
things.
protesters.
No, the anti-fascist
They
protesters.
seem kind of fascist, though.
No, they're anti-fascist
Shutting down
because
free
you're a
speech is a bit
fascist.
fascist.
No, free
I'm a
speech, if
liberal.
it hurts someone, has to be restricted to a certain
So
extent.
you
can't-
want to restrict free speech?
If it hurts someone,
Yeah,
yes.
but what hurt has been done?
Well, you're normalising rape
How in anarchy are you going to restrict free speech?
by a community organisation.
So bullying.
No,
Mob rule.
No, not
Well,
mob rule. It would have to be organised on a consensus basis, so everybody would have to be involved.
Oh my god, it would have to be organized out of
Made up
consensus.
of citizens of this country.
No, well, it's not, though, is it? It's made up of rich people educated in Eton and Harrow.
Yeah, but they're still citizens of this country.
That's maybe. That's not really relevant to the point, is it?
Well, yeah, because what you're describing is you need a government to make anarchy work.
A government which is controlled by the people and organised by the people.
Well, now that's interesting.
Everyone,
because
all the people,
I'm
not just a
actually-
small minority
Well,
of
yeah,
voters,
I
as
don't know.
most of the things that you support.
Well,
For
Government made up of by the people, for the people.
instance, the Leave.
Like what?
For the people.
Well, for instance, the Leave vote.
That was
it
that.
was a very small minority. It was
For
a
the
very
people
small
voice.
Out of all the
majority
voters, we
and a
got the
minority
majority
of the
of voters.
population. Out of all the voters, you got a majority of the voters. That doesn't mean it should be pushed through. Democracy means
Why?
the voice of the people.
Yeah, but that's
It's not the
voice
of the people.
in
It's not
action.
the voice of a very small majority of votors
Yeah,
and a minority of the
Are
population.
people
So
not
that's
allowed
not
to
the voice.
abstain from voting?
Of course, they're allowed to abstain
So
from
what's
voting.
wrong with that?
It's the dictatorship of majority rule. And
Well,
as we can
yeah,
see,
that's-
the
well,
election,
it's just-
the
that's why
referendum
we
was
have
incredibly badly
constitutionalism.
written. Constitutionalism. We don't actually have constitution. We don't have a constitution
We
in this
have a
country.
historic constitution.
We have the Magna Carta, but it's not actually a constitution in this
Magna
country. It's
Carta
not
actually
legally
isn't part of-
binding.
Magna Carta isn't part of UK
We
law
don't-
now.
we don't have a constitution.
We had Bill of Rights in 1689. Like, do you not know any of this stuff?
I don't know. You may know something that I don't know. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but we have a long historic tradition of
It's not
constitutionalism. We actually invented the idea.
The point is that that's not relevant. All you've done is
I think-
taken this off to a different point.
No,
Because
but I think that is
constitutionalism, it's not relevant. No, it's not
Well,
relevant.
that's how we keep governments accountable. That's how
No,
we keep them from
but
becoming
they're not
tyrannical.
accountable, though. They've pushed
Well-
through various things over the last 20 years. The Iraq War,
I agree,
austerity, universal credit. They've pushed through
Yeah.
many things that were opposed by the majority of the
I agree.
population. So they're not accountable
Can
at
we
all.
get Tony Blair in jail?
I would very much like to see
Wouldn't
Tony
that
Blair in
be
jail. I'd
great,
also
right?
like to see Theresa May in jail.
Yeah,
I also
yeah,
think
come
that
on.
you should
Come on,
be in
let's go round
fucking
of
jail.
applause.
I also think you
Oh,
should be in
calm down.
jail.
No, why? Why should I
Because
be in
you
jail?
have normalised rape.
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
Who
you have,
thinks
and you
rape
used a
is
racial
normal?
slur
Who thinks
and
rape
refused
is
to
normal?
apologise for it. A racial
I'm not
slur
gonna
which is rooted in
apologise.
slavery.
I'm not going to apologise for being naughty to
You s-
Nazis. To hell with them. Why are you defending them?
You're a joke.
Why were you defending
You are
the Nazis?
absolutely a joke.
I
You
was
are
insulting
supporting Nazis.
Nazis.
The UKIP party has close relationships with the far right.
No, they don't.
Yes,
They're
they
the only
do.
party in the country that prevent the far right from joining. Yes, really.
No, the anarchist party is the only party in the country which should stop
The
far
anarchist
right from
party isn't
joining.
fit for government because they hate government.
No, we don't hate government.
Of
We
course
are in
you-
favour of community
Yeah,
self-organisation.
but it's not going to happen, is it? Let's be honest.
Well, that's your opinion.
Well,
That's
you can't
your
make
opinion.
it
Why do you
happen.
think it's not going to happen?
Because I think that the government will stop you from what I guess would sound like a revolt.
Well, I think if everybody is in favour of something, and I think if everybody opposes the government, which it seems that they're getting very close to doing, then I think that, yeah, revolution is possible.
Well, what do you do with the people who oppose the revolution?
Well, they have to, I mean, depends
have
on
to
the
be shot?
No, it depends on the circumstances.
You've
I
got a
would
machine gun on your top.
Yeah, it's tongue-in-cheek. It's tongue-in-cheek.
Oh, it's a joke when you do it, but not when I do it.
Well, no, they're culling the badger.
It's okay when you do it. This is the problem that we have with
Now
you.
the fucking parliament. Let's have a wait a minute. if you ask me, if you ask me the question, the simple answer is that since they're culling badgers and they're killing a lot of people, the point is to make the point that the rich people are the people who are causing that and who are pursuing that. And if you're going to cull anyone, probably better to cull the rich than the badgers because they're the real issue.
I don't think we should
I'm not
shoot
in
anyone.
favour of genocide. No, I'm not.
Oh, you're not in favour of genocide?
No,
How brave.
I would never be in favour of supporting state violence.
So, but what are we going to do about the rich then?
Well, the rich need to have their money redistributed.
But that's going to involve state violence.
Not necessarily.
What do you mean? You think they're going to? You think
Community
they're just going to give it away?
Community
hang on, mate.
self-organisation.
Hang on, come on.
Community self-organisation. If you have a
but they're
vast
not-
mass of people, look at the 1990s. Look at Eastern
They're
Europe.
not just
If you have a
gonna give
vast
their
mass of
property
people, you
away.
can have a velvet revolution and you can redistribute money.
They're not just going to give their property away. You're going to have to take it by force.
If they, obviously, if there's a case of self-defense, then there's a case of self-defense. But
Yeah, but they'll be defending themselves from people trying to steal their stuff.
It's not their stuff. It's not
It
their
is.
property.
Of course
no,
it
all
is.
property is theft.
Right. I disagree. I'm not an anarchist.
Fuck off.
You don't have a job, do you?
I do have a job, actually.
Oh,
I've
where'd
got
you
2
work?
0-hours contracts.
Oh, that sucks.
Yes, no, it's pretty crap.
Yeah, no, that sounds awful. I actually really hate the 0-hour contract thing. I hate what the Tories are doing
Yeah,
to
I'm
this country.
sure you do.
Of course I do. I'm not a Tory.
No, you're a UKIP supporter.
I-
You're
yeah.
a UKIP MEP.
Well, I'm a candidate, but thank you for thinking I'll win.
Candidate,
But that doesn't mean I'm a Tory. I'm obviously not a Tory. No, seriously, look, I've
Do you
worked...
have any policies?
Yes, loads.
Would you like to tell me one?
I'd like to leave the European Union.
You'd like to leave you. And
Yeah.
what else?
I'd like free speech in this country. I'd like to erase group rights in this country as well.
Erase group rights. What does that
Yes.
mean exactly?
It means politicizing people whether they like it or not.
And what exactly
Just like
are
you're
you
doing
doing?
with the people who are abstaining from the vote, in fact. Because to say that, like, 17.4 million out of the 30 or 36 million who voted, you're saying, well, what about the people who didn't vote? Well, they chose not to become political. They chose that. You don't have a say over them. They have a say over them.
But I do have a say on how. Well, I don't even actually have a say on how democracy is organised in this country. But I believe that we should have a say on how democracy is organised in this country. And I don't believe that majority, a very slim majority, is one that should be pushed through. Especially
Why?
when the referendum was so incredibly badly worded.
Well-
I believe we should have another vote.
What do you like about the European Union?
Don't particularly like the European Union. It's somewhat left wing, more left wing than the UK.
But
But
it's neoliberal.
I don't favour any state.
Yeah, well, why
Or
why
any
would you
association of states.
Why would you not want to reduce the size of states in principle, though?
Well, because the Parliament, the power that we have in this country is associated in a much smaller
Oh,
group
man,
of
you-
rich people than it is in the EU. But I mean,
Yeah, but
I'm
no,
not
it's
particularly in
very-
favour. I
it's
mean,
very in
you've shifted
favour
to
of
something where
rich
you feel
people
that
in the
you
EU.
have a strong basis of support. But the fact of the matter is, I'm not even particularly pro or anti the EU. I didn't vote in the referendum myself.
If I was an anarchist, I would think the EU was the worst thing that could happen to this country because it's an increasingly big state. They want to create a super
But it
state.
is also
that-
decentralised, more
No, it's
decentralised
not.
than the
It's
state that we have in this
incredibly
country.
centralised.
No, it's not.
It is. It's I've been there. It's really
Well,
centralised.
when you
And
have
they create-
every
no, listen.
nation in the association has a veto over a decision, that sounds like decentralisation to me.
No, that's the opposite. Decentralisation would be each nation being autonomous and making their own decisions. Like I would like devolution
If a-
from London.
If a decision affects the whole of the union, then every person in that union should have a right to decide on it.
Yeah, but they don't.
No.
You
but
don't
the-
even get
but
to
the
vote for the
nations
people
do.
who
But
decide
the
on it.
nations do.
You
Well,
don't.
That's an aspect of a
You've
deeply
got even
undemocratic
less
system
control
that we have in this
within the
country as well as
European
those
Union.
countries.
Yeah, but you've got less control within the European Union. I mean,
I
wouldn't it be
I
better?
don't really agree personally, but there you go. That's your opinion.
What control do you have over the European Commission?
I mean, I could vote for an MEP.
Yeah, but the MEPs, listen, the MEPs can't propose or repeal legislation.
All you're doing is
No.
shifting this onto debate about the EU. And the fact
Yeah,
of the
well,
matter
I
is, I
asked you
don't
about
actually
the
care
EU.
about the EU. What my opinion
Well, then
is
why are
I'm
you
in
against
favour of
Brexit?
total democracy, like total anarchist, self-organised democracy.
Okay, but
so that means that everybody gets a right to a decision, and everybody gets a right
Yeah.
to a veto over a decision that affects them. They have the right to control their own lives.
Then
That's
nothing
what
will
I'm in
happen.
favour of.
Then
well,
nothing will
that's
happen.
your opinion.
Yeah,
and
well, if
that
every
doesn't
single
surprise
person
me
can
that you have that
veto-
opinion, because you're a white dominant man who's in favour
I?
of sexism,
Am I a white
racism,
dominant man?
and fascism.
You
Yeah,
seem to be
you
a white
absolutely
supremacist,
are.
sir.
I'm not a white supremacist.
You seem to think
in
that
any
white
way,
people are
shape,
better than
meaning,
non-white people. Why is that?
What would make you think that?
Because you're calling me a white dominant man. You don't know anything about me. I'm not dominant over anything.
We have a system in this country which intentionally favours white dominant men.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
How does Sajid Javid end up being an important person in the Conservatives?
Because he's really fucking right wing.
Because he's a white man, right?
No, because he's a really right wing
Yeah.
bastard.
So it's not about race, is it? Then it's about
sometimes
politics.
it's about
No,
race.
it's not. It's
we have a
about politics.
structurally racist system.
How's Gina Miller a pro-Remain campaigner?
You can't
such a
cherry
prominent
pick
one?
examples and use that to disprove
You
the point.
You can't say that this is a white supremacist system if there are non-white people
Didn't
doing
actually
well.
say it was a white supremacist
well, sorry,
system. I
that
said
was
it was a
the
structurally
implication,
racist system.
Well, I don't agree with that either.
Well, you may not disagree.
How
with it,
how
you
is
may
it
not agree
structurally
with
racist?
It's structurally racist in so. Oh, for fuck's fuck's sake, this is bullshit.
You can't explain it. You can't explain it. You can't explain it.
You're a prick, mate.
Everyone knows. That's
rape.
just an
Because you said
argument
that
for
you would
popularity.
you said that you would
That's just an
break
argument.
under pressure.
You're
and-
getting angry because you don't understand the things you're talking about.
No, like, I'm getting angry because I'm being drawn into a debate which is becoming increasingly elitist. So people can't
No, you
understand what we're
don't- now
talking
we're
about.
making
And you just keep
excuses.
changing
You
the
don't know
subject.
what you're talking
The
about, sir.
important point is that people have to understand
You're getting
that
angry because you don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not angry.
You're
in
very
that
angry.
sense. No, I'm not.
You are very angry because you don't know what you're talking about. The European
I do
Union is
know
awful.
exactly
It's the antithesis
Change
of
it,
anarchy.
change it to a subject, that you
European
think you've got
Union
control
is the
over.
antithesis-
Change it to a subject you think you've got
Well,
control
what
over.
do you
Go
want
on.
to talk about? You got nothing.
Should we talk about your rape? What you said about rape?
Yeah,
That
it's a
you
joke.
would cave under pressure.
Yeah, it's a joke.
You would cave under pressure.
It's
So
a
you
joke.
could be a rapist in
No
some
one's got that much
circumstances,
beer.
could you?
Yeah. What about your joke? Your joke's okay, but my joke's not.
My joke is about raising awareness of the fact that the rich
joke's about
oppress us.
murder.
Your joke was about normalising rape.
Murder
and
is
saying
worse
that
than
rape
rape.
was okay.
Your joke's about normalising murder.
We already have murder in this country.
We already have
people
rape.
die all the time in this
So?
country. We have
So?
thousands of people under
Yeah.
a system and universal credit who are being oppressed day by day. People committing suicide because
Yeah.
they've got no money left. That's the reality. We
you
already
think
have
it's
murder
okay
in
to
this
joke
country.
about murder?
No, I think it's okay. I think it's important to raise
So
it
it's
as
not
a debate.
okay to joke about murder.
I think it's important to
It's not
ra-
okay to joke about murder.
it's
But you're
not-
doing it on your shirt now.
No, it's raising the debate about murder.
Well, what? Maybe I was raising
We
a debate
already
about
ha-
rape. Yeah, that's an important thing, don't you think? It's the biggest killer of men under 45, but are men oppressing women?
I believe that men are oppressed just as women are oppressed. Men are maybe more oppressed, in my opinion.
So
but
is
it's
it
certainly
not fair to want to have a debate about why men commit suicide so much? Because they do.
Of course it's fair, but you've changed the subject away from what you said, which was to normalise.
No,
You
I
said
don't-
that you
I
could be a
don't-
rapist in some
But you're
circumstances,
normalising
didn't you?
murder.
No, look, it's
That's
not
the
me.
same thing.
It's not me.
It's a
It's
joke.
a badger.
Yeah,
it's
but
not me. It's a
yeah,
badger.
but
You
I
said
was
that
just
you would
telling a
commit
joke.
rape under some
No, I didn't.
circumstances.
No,
Yes,
I
you
didn't.
did.
It
You
was
said
a
if there was
joke.
enough pressure, you would cave.
It's
You would
a
commit
joke.
rape.
Are you pressuring me to cave?
I beg your pardon?
Are you pressuring me to cave right
No,
now?
of course I'm not so pressuring
But
you
the
to
thing is,
cave.
I was obviously making a joke, because you're obviously making a joke. Why are you taking a joke so seriously?
It's
a
not.
joke,
It's
not
not
a
obviously
dick. Don't
making a
take it
joke.
so hard.
No, it's not actually making a
Of
joke.
course it's a
It's
joke.
not funny. It's not
It
funny
is
to people
funny.
who are victims of this
I think
shit.
it's funny.
It's not funny.
But I think it's funny.
Well, I don't actually.
Because
what
I'm a
gives you the
free
right-
man, that's why. And he's a free man. He doesn't have to like it, yeah. But I don't have to care whether he likes my jokes or not. I mean, I don't like his joke, but he doesn't have to care about that. Thank you very much for having the discussion. I very much appreciate it. Right, okay, let me grab. Has anyone got a bottle of water around or anything? Yes, I'd love to talk to you. Can I just get a drink?
Testing. Hello.
I know you're not one. I have a song for you.
Only if I'm funded by you, Kit.
This is especially people. Yeah. That's the kind of left we need to get out. Because these people are fucking so bad. Like, yeah, they don't think their own opinions through.
They're just everyone's just like shouting fascists at each other. I don't know. It's just a buzzword now. I don't even know if it means.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I'm for limited government, so that's.
So it's like it's brought out the worst people, the most radical, like old left people.
Yeah.
Because like, like if they really.
So sorry, this is really like a communist enclave.
It's all right. That's why we're here. We're here to
At
flush
least
it
there's no
out.
trumpets blaring.
How's it going? Did you enjoy the chat with the animators? Oh. Hands with everyone.
Amongst all the mess that's going on, right, and the slander and the smear and
Yes.
all that muck over there and such,
Yeah.
who agree does this.
Yep.
Anyway, so a lady there who was by no means like the representative, but she gave me a flyer of Green Party, said, I asked her about the problem with Europe, and she said that in terms of the green problem and climate change and things like that, so lots of laws.
Hang on a second. This guy's about to be a fascist at us. Would you like to do some fascism, sir? Come on, dance monkey. Go on.
Gonna
Where's the
scream
Come on.
fascist at
Come on.
me?
Let's have the fascism. Oh, you can't get your. There we go. Why don't we have a chat, sir?
broken.
Sorry to give me a second. Sorry about this. Why don't we have a chat, sir? Sir, you've come all the way over. Why don't we have a chat? Why can't we talk?
After me.
Yeah, after you, of course. We'll queue like British people do. You know, the right way.
Like a good cue.
Well, it's the only way to organise. What
This
else?
is
What's
very
the
true.
alternative? You know, like.
Right.
Oh, come on now, sir.
So,
Well, I've got a microphone here. Would you like to have a chat?
I don't like talking to white supremacists.
What?
I don't like talking to
you
people
won't be
with
talking to a
loudspeakers.
white supremacist. Yeah, but I wouldn't trust Rational Wiki, mate.
Couldn't you wait your turn, mate?
No, I haven't. I've never worked for Alex Jones. Who do you think I am?
What's your name?
Carl Benjamin. No, Carl Benjamin. You don't even know who you're talking to, sir. It's not appropriate. Who do you think I am?
What's your name?
Carl Benjamin. No, Carl Benjamin. You don't even know who you're talking to, sir. It's not appropriate. You don't
You're
know
in the
who I
wrong
am,
place,
sir.
mate.
What are you doing? Don't you feel silly now? You don't know who I am. You're not here to listen to anything anyone says, and you think I'm someone I'm not? That's embarrassing for you, sir. Come on, should we have a conversation? Should we have a conversation? We can have a conversation about anything?
We can have a conversation.
Okay, well, if you can wait for this gentleman, then we can have a chat afterwards.
Please.
You're allowed to be wrong as well, sir. Right. Hi, how's it going?
Take two.
Is there any reason that you're standing so
Action.
close? Do you think that anyone deserves personal space? You're just standing, but inside my personal space, aren't you? Seems like you're angry. We don't have laws. Maybe we should get some. Do you think we should? Do you know what's interesting? It's actually you can't actually legally rape a man in this country. Isn't that interesting? It's only women you can rape. Yeah, but legally not so. You know but that's. I'm sorry to hear that, by the way, but legally that's not something they're going to care about. Do you not think that's a problem? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay. Well, okay, John. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Let's talk then, sir.
So I went to a Green Party meeting the
Yes.
other day. This isn't the start of a joke, anyway.
It does sound like one, though, doesn't it?
So this lady said the reason that we should be part of Europe is
Yeah.
because our parliament in this country is so cruddy that we haven't allowed any environmental laws to be passed through this country.
Right.
It's all had to be enforced externally from the EU.
Yeah.
I know you're running as part of the Europe and not so much change, but it's all still the same thing in my kind
I'm
of
running to be
opinion.
an MEP for UKIP. Yeah.
So in essence, lots of people may want to know what are your views on.
Sorry,
I don't know.
Chad, come on.
don't-
Let's give him a little bit of space, if that's all right. I would mind you not touching me. You were touching me. You were touching.
You're technically touching.
You're touching him, sir. You've moved in. Yeah. It's gonna hurt me. I don't know if that's true.
I'm questioning him.
Yeah.
Who says I'm going to vote, mate? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Put me in a
Of
box.
course I will. Of course I will. All of this is going to go up. Yeah. But he doesn't like what the left is becoming, and you're an example of that?
Yeah.
Well, that's what he thinks.
Your other MEP wants to come in and debate him. Was that be a
Yeah,
good idea?
is that okay?
So if he can finish, let the other MEP come in here and see how it goes.
Come on. There's no need for any of this, is there? I mean, is this how you would run your people's democracy? Would you run your people's democracy this way? It doesn't seem very polite, does it? It doesn't seem very... Well, I thought that's what you were describing. I thought that's what you were describing earlier. Well, you'd be part of it, wouldn't you? You'd be part
You'll
of it.
just shout
But
instead.
if this is the way you're acting, it's not going to work, is it? I mean, look, the government isn't here telling us what to do, so you have to be responsible. Well, they're not telling us what to... They're here to protect me from you because you look like a violent psychopath. That's why they're here. You honestly do. Look at you. Look at you with the gun on there, the thing that you can pull up to mask yourself. Yeah, cull the rich. I mean, Jesus, man. I'm like a nut. Well then, okay, back off. So what's this guy? Right. Sorry, I'm sorry about that. Right, okay, make sure there's a bit of a space there because the connection. Right. Right, so you went to a Green Party meeting, and I'm standing for an MEP. That's where I thought we were.
So this lady from the Green Party who gave me the leaflet said
Yeah.
that the better reason why we stand for Europe and join all that is
Yeah.
because they actually implement good laws for our climate. Can I just ask you what your views on this? Maybe climate change is a bit
Yeah,
too much,
well,
but
we can talk about it.
maybe in my idea,
Yeah.
reducing corporations' ability to create plastic bottles, and for all that, plastic to be just mass-produced as it does.
How about I tell you what I think? Because I'm actually... so I don't know anything about the climate change debate, like the science of it. I'm not a scientist, and I mean, I just accept what scientists say because I don't know, right? So I don't want to get into the detail of that, but if we can reduce the sort of anthropogenic nature of the debate and change it to like environmentalism, as in what can we do to help the environment, then I actually think I have some ideas. I mean, like, for example, the UKIP manifesto does have a part on this where they talk about it, and the only part of the manifesto I actually disagree with is the fact they want to kind of try and revive coal stations in the north, which I think was them trying to bring jobs back to the north. I think it's a noble idea, but I think it's the wrong way to go about it. I think we should actually be promoting nuclear power. I actually think this is a much cleaner, much safer. I mean, people always bring up Chernobyl or something. Well, yeah, an old Soviet nuclear power station, probably not the best example of nuclear power. I think that with modern technology, I think we can have safe, clean, and sustainable energy. Yeah, I know there are problems. Nothing's perfect. But I think that we can learn from these mistakes rather than just discard the whole thing. But when it comes to plastic, I'm actually completely with you on this issue. And I'm glad Milo isn't actually here, because he'd be chewing my ear off, going, no, that's not very libertarian to let the government do this. But I'm not a libertarian, I'm a liberal. I think the government does have a role in regulating certain things. And I want to keep our streams and rivers safe and clean, and I don't like the microplastics in the environment. And I've spoken to a lot of other people in UKIP about this. They're small g greens. They think that we do need a green and pleasant, and we have to keep it green and pleasant. And that means let's just use paper and glass. Paper and glass don't ruin the environment. Or like hemp or something like that for bags at supermarkets. Yeah, exactly. Right. Decriminalize drugs. It's a health problem. It's not a legal problem. That's an archaic way of looking at things from 100 years ago. And like you say, hemp is actually an amazing resource. There's a lot we can actually do with that. And I think hey, yeah, you can. But of course they do. But everyone
you can
everywhere
smoke hemp.
This is the thing. It's an archaic way of trying to be puritanical about these things that needs to go. Don't and treat it like a health problem if there's a problem. You know what I mean? But when it comes to plastics, yeah, I agree. We've got to start phasing them out. We can't be tyrannical about it and say, right, every plastic will be banned tomorrow. We can't do that. But we can. Yeah, exactly. But we can slowly phase it out. Like say, right, we're going to make sure that we'll regulate that every plastic bag, within like 3 years or something, will be out of a supermarket and it'll be replaced by hemp bags or whatever it is. Whatever replacement we want, paper bags, whatever. I think by increment, and then so in like 10, 15 years, we will have phased out plastic. And the thing is, I think that if we become more mindful as consumers, we'll be naturally inclined to go, no, I don't want a plastic bag. I want a decent replacement.
Lots of people do that as it stands.
Yeah, my wife is actually the one who got me into all this way of thinking. So I was like, you're absolutely right, darling. We do need to be responsible, because I'm the sort of lazy guy who'll go, I'll pay 5p for the bag. I don't care. And I'm starting to hate myself for doing it. I'm like, oh no, that is actually lazy, And I really should get on with actually doing my part. And I think that if we'll do our part, we create a better world. That's how it's done. So
cool.
yeah, no, I'm totally down with that. And I've spoken to a lot of people in UKIP about this, because I was feeling them out. So because I'm like, yeah, plastic bags are gross, man. Plastic bottles are gross as well. Is there anything we can do? And they were like, yeah, that'd be fine. They're all fine with it, And so it's like, we're going to take over the Greens. But is there anything else?
So as well, because I got to say, big up to the hot cross bun who's out there somewhere. What a ledge! Asking you maybe similar kind of questions, but from a non sort of set religion point, what do you really judge someone on? Is it their bank balance, or is it the actual moral values that they uphold?
I think it's their behaviour. I think that's how you should judge people. It's the way they interact with you. I mean, like. I think that you can say any joke you like, where online or whatever like that. But as soon as you're talking to someone, if you're up in someone's face and shouting at them, I think that's morally wrong. I think you've got to treat people with an individual with respect, and I think that's how we create a decent social fabric in this country. Because I mean, the way they've acted, even if you disagree with absolutely everything I'm saying, that's not acceptable behaviour, is it? Come on. So.
Thank you, Carl. That was. I'll probably go on for more and more, but thank you. That was that.
Thank you for coming out and asking me questions. I really appreciate it. And thank you for the performance.
Hello there.
Oh, I very much approve of your T-shirt.
Thank you.
Very much approve. And again, I'm not an expert on fracking or anything like that, but I'm very much aware that David Cameron's, I think it was his uncle, owns a fracking company, and suddenly, fracking in Britain would be a good idea. No, David, it's a bad idea. We've seen what happens in America with this.
Well, this T-shirt was created by a group in Totnes called Frack Free Totnes,
right,
to highlight the fact that it's been banned in everywhere apart from England.
Really?
So, yeah.
Well, we should be banning it next.
We will be soon. Like,
good.
Natasha Engel just resigned because she realises there's no future in fracking in this country.
Excellent.
That is the case. And the way we've done that is by taking mass civil disobedience through, for example, Extinction Rebellion and the climate strikes. highlighting the climate emergency. So my name's Larch Maxey.
Nice to
I'm
meet
an
you.
MEP candidate alongside you, and I consider it alongside you, not against you.
Thank you.
Because what I'm here to do is to invite you to recognise the climate and ecological emergency and to take appropriate action on that emergency. So what we try to ask people to do is to tell the truth, let it in, actually really feel it, and then act appropriately. So are you willing to do that?
With the principle, and I was just saying, I'm going to start forcing myself not to buy the cheap plastic bags because I really do agree they're gross, and I think we need to get rid of them. And the thing,
so the climate emergency is a bit more beyond plastic bags.
That's where we've got to stop, because I actually don't know anything about the debate really.
I'm a scientist, so I can help you out there if you want.
No. But the thing is, as soon as I listen to your side, I will not be able to analyze the information you give me. And I'm not suggesting you're wrong or anything like that. It's just I won't have the expertise needed.
It's just the science. We just use the science.
But the thing is, I know that there are people on the other side. Whether they're
what other side? Other side of what?
The other side of the debate. And
you mean the people that deny science, deny climate change?
I don't know.
I don't think we should be giving credence to climate deniers.
Well, this is the thing.
Do you think we should?
Well, no, I don't know. I don't know. That's the thing. And so this is not my debate, you know.
So it is your debate because it's your future.
Well, hang on. Because yeah, they've got a right to be wrong. That's what I feel, and they should be heard. And I mean, there might be something about what they're saying that is true. I don't know, right? And like I said, I just don't know about the debate, so it's not my subject. But I do agree with like individual points, like the fracking. I completely agree. Getting rid of plastic bags, I completely agree. And I spoke to the Extinction Rebellion protesters myself. I've got a video of myself interviewing them. They were lovely. They were absolutely lovely people. And I mean, some of them had views that I thought were very extreme, and that I don't agree with, like banning oil and things like this. You know, that's not going to happen. I think that's just ridiculous. But I would like to incrementally reduce our dependence on fossil fuels, and not just because of environmental reasons. There are geopolitical reasons to do that. I mean, like, I don't want us to be reliant on Saudi Arabia. I don't want us to be reliant on the Gulf states. And if we could phase in electric cars or something, like have government initiatives to put up electric charging stations around the country and have tax breaks for electric cars or something, then I think that would be a fantastic way of changing the country incrementally for the better.
So do you have a sense of the urgency of this? The reason the government has declared it a climate emergency, an ecological emergency, is that we have this year to go from emissions rising to emissions coming down. That's the science. Even the UN General Secretary has said that.
Yeah.
So incrementally isn't actually up to the job. What's up to the job is that we appoint citizens' assemblies, ordinary people like you and me, to decide the policies based on all of the evidence. Are you familiar with citizens' assemblies?
Like I said, this is not my subject.
So citizens' assemblies is politics. It's not climate change, it's politics.
Yeah.
Citizens' assemblies is what they've been using in Ireland and around the world.
Oh, right, okay,
yeah, so it's ordinary people selected like a jury system.
Yeah, that sounds
the
great.
jury system is the saving grace of the English legal system.
Of course it is.
Ordinary people.
It's the gift we gave to the world.
Exactly.
It's amazing. Yeah.
So ordinary people in a citizens' assembly have all the information. They're the experts on tap, not on top. So they have all the information, including the climate denial perspective, and then they make the policies based on that.
Right.
And that's what we're advocating, and that's what I'd like you to advocate.
I like the sound for that. That sounds great. I love this kind of people power initiative. The only question I have is, what do we do about China and India? Because as I understand it,
can answer that easily. Yeah,
they are the massive polluters of the world. Actually, so what do we do?
So what we do is all any of us can do is what we can affect ourselves.
Yes.
So we state that's why you and I are standing, because it's something we can do.
Yes.
So in the UK, we have a huge role to play in the global scene. The other countries watch us.
Yes.
We've got a massive historical legacy of impact around the world. So if we take a proper stance, we've already declared emergency, that's a good first step. But if we actually appoint a citizens' assembly and start doing the policies that are needed, the rest of the world is watching. There's a huge appetite for this. People are realising that our future's on the line. What we're facing now is the potential for our kids to be the last generation. That's the risk, according to the science. We don't want that to happen. So if the UK steps up, the rest of the world will follow. America, China eventually will follow. It's easier for us to do it here
let me take that point
now.
Because I think that's very interesting, because I'm a bit more cynical when it comes to what you're suggesting, because I like the idea that we step up and lead the way, and I think that is how we should definitely move forward. But I'm a bit more cynical because I think the economic investment that China and India have in manufacturing and industry like they do, which is the cause of all the pollution, I think the economic investment is going to make them overlook the moral stance we're taking. And I think that the regular people of those countries who need the money that they're making to pull themselves out of poverty, I think they're going to be very resentful if we try and take that away from them. So I think we need a solution that works for them as well as us. But that's the problem, isn't it? Because otherwise, like you say, it's an emergency. So what do we do?
So there are a lot of win-wins in here. Like
Right.
we create more jobs. Renewable energy creates 6 times more
Yeah.
jobs than fossil fuel energy investment, for example.
Right.
We insulate every home. That creates loads of jobs, and people have warm homes at the end of it.
Yeah.
That's really cheap. For the price of the HS2, which is a vanity project, every home in the UK could be insulated.
Right, okay.
So the solutions are there, and they are the
Right, okay.
solutions for China and America as well. China's got the worst pollution problems in the world.
course, yeah.
They're starting to realise they
Beijing is
can.
disgusting.
That's why they invest more, produce more renewable, like solar panels than any other country in the world. So the solutions are there. All we lack is the political will.
How do you feel about nuclear power?
So I think is the wrong answer to the wrong question. Basically, we energy efficiency, and then renewables can do the job. That's what we need, because renewables will create way more jobs, and it's much safer and much easier to. If you make a mistake with renewables, you just take it off the site, and then you do something else. With the nuclear, you're invested, and also it takes a lot of energy to extract.
Oh, hang on a sec. Oh, okay, go on.
Add something. Thank you. When we mine for these rare minerals to produce the solar panels, I'm not sure about wind turbines. Isn't that releasing a lot of, the way I understand it, again, I'm not a scientist, doesn't that release a lot of CO2 into the atmosphere?
That's a great question. So what we've seen over the last 10 years is a massive drop in the toxicity of the renewables. So wind turbines are pretty clean, actually. They're just for metal and moving parts. So yeah, sure. In their operation, they have some damage. But the RSPB. Let me just finish. Sorry,
let him finish, sir. Let him finish. Come on.
Let me just.
Let him finish.
Let me just finish. So the RSPB have advocated wind turbines for about 15 years because they know that the risk of climate change is a much bigger threat to the ecology than it is from wind turbines. But solar panels are the ones where you've got the real problems, and batteries. So those two technologies have massively improved in the last 10 years with very little investment. If we actually properly invest in it, we'll get them a lot cleaner still. The main ingredient of PV photovoltaic is silica. It's sand. It's not inherently toxic. We can.
What about the arsenic, you fucking liar?
It's a very long-winded way of going around nuclear power, because I think nuclear power would solve a lot of these problems as well as not kill birds and things like this, And I do wonder why. I've spoken to many environmentalists about this, and they kind of say, well, yes, but I would prefer this. I think we could maybe have a reasonable amount of both, because I've heard that one of the things is the amount of renewable energy is not like nuclear power is very productive. It's very productive, and that's its main strength. So you don't need much to create a lot. Whereas with renewables, like with solar panels, they're very energy inefficient, which is just the nature of them. And so you'd need vast areas covered in solar panels to create the same sort of effect.
Well, the efficiency of it as per unit area of PV has increased massively over the last 10 years as well. So the panels are getting cleaner.
No, it hasn't.
There's actually a scientist on YouTube called Thunderfoot who's done a really good expose on this and said, look, they're a good idea, and when we can use them, we should. But I don't think they're the solution. But I hope I tell you, we'll stop now so we can talk to someone else. But I tell you what,
I just said the two problems with nuclear. It's too slow, and
Yeah.
it has a lot of embodied energy in it. So it's not up to the job. Renewables provide all the solutions we need. We can already fuel ourselves with renewables. We just need a bit more investment and energy efficiency. So.
Well, I tell you what, thank you so much for coming out and having a conversation with me, and I hope to see you in the European Parliament. I hope we both meet each other there. Thank you. Right, is there anyone else? Oh, have all our protesters gone? Oh. Hello, sir. Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing. Like, that's one example from somewhere else, because wasn't that a tsunami?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a natural disaster.
Yeah, yeah, but you look at the infantry point of Fukushima. You can get a.
So yeah.
Hello, Carl.
Hello. What's your name, sir?
My name's James.
Nice to meet you, James.
Basically, I'm what you call a climate change denier.
Yeah.
Okay. I think.
Where's the green chap?
Yeah. Their argument is 99% of all scientists agree that man-made climate change is a thing, which is actually it just isn't true. There are not 99% of scientists who think that. And when you look at the real climate scientists, like believe it or not, a chap called Willie, who's a Chinese chap who actually is really doing the science, and even Piers Corbyn, which is Jeremy's brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jeremy's brother is a proper scientist. And basically, the temperature on Earth is governed by one thing and one thing only.
The sun? Yeah.
Yeah, the
It
sun.
It is warm, yeah.
Yeah. And if that heats up, we heat up. If that cools down, we cool down.
Yeah.
And at the moment, that is on a phase where it's going to be cooling down, okay? And the problem is cold kills more than heat. If you look back to when civilization actually grew, when you're talking about the Roman Empire.
The speaker, please.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you move out of the way?
You're looking at the Roman Empire. It was 2 degrees warmer than it was now.
Yeah.
Look
Well,
at the Dark
you
Ages.
can look at the medieval warm period.
Yeah,
and
the medieval
whatnot. Goes up
warm
and down, yeah.
period was when we built those fantastic, wonderful
Yeah.
cathedrals.
And then the frozen Thames during the Victorian era.
Yeah. Well, back into the Maundy
Yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah.
We are going back into a Maundy Minimum. Yes, climate does change, but it's arrogant. I think, and CO2 is the breath of life.
Yeah.
Everything needs CO2 to live.
that is
They
plants
are
thriving.
demonizing the actual. Yeah, they are.
Do we have to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, CO2 is only 4%. So
Yeah.
sorry, Carl.
No,
I
no.
do. I talk the hind legs of a donkey.
That's okay.
But I don't believe nuclear is safe. I think if you look at the fallout from Fukushima, right? Okay, that is being hidden. And if you go and actually do some research on what is really happening in the Atlantic Ocean now around Japan, you would never ever advocate for nuclear.
But we're not
again.
we're not in an earthquake hotspot or anything.
Yes, we are. We are in.
Are we?
Yeah, we are due a tsunami up the Severn Estuary. We're overdue by about 100 years up the Severn Estuary. Basically, you've got a volcano over in the Canary Islands.
Yeah. Okay, hang on.
And that's way overdue. That will go. That's going to.
And you hold it up there, more up there, because I think you're holding it.
That's going to knock half the mountain into the sea, and we're going to get a tsunami.
So
okay, that's happened twice
Can we not build
within
it
the
away from
last
the coast?
700 years.
Can we not build it away from the coast then?
Yeah, Hinkley Point couldn't get closer to the bloody coast. It's on the sea.
Yeah, but can't we build away from the sea?
No, because we're building Hinkley Point now.
Oh well. Yeah, I don't think it's just as simple as that. But like I said, I'm not an expert on this, so if it's okay, I'll talk about politics. I know a lot more about that. If that's all right.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, you can't advocate nuclear.
I told you to be honest, though, isn't he?
Oh yes. Yes, I remember.
We put it down there for your dog. It's all right. It's only water. Thank you very much indeed, sir.
Like that in your pocket, mate. We'll need to give that to Callum. Yeah, I've got organisers because I can't do it. Right. Okay. So right. So can we create a slightly bigger circle now that the protesters have? Sorry, I'm not. Just so we've got a bit more space now.
Stay away from me.
Yeah. It's because I think it's interference with the thing. So, excuse chaps. Sorry to. Can we make a bit more of a wide perimeter now? So now that the where did they go? God, that's lazy, isn't it? Honestly, absolutely lazy. Can we get a little bit more space? Sorry, it's just now that we've got the space, I feel we should occupy it. You know, I like that. I tell you what I spent all my youth in goth clubs. I never dressed like it because I'm too shy, frankly. But I spent all of my youth in goth communities and heavy metal communities. And one of the things I saw a few years back were the bloody SJWs going on about how the problem with heavy metal are metalheads, and I'm just sat there like, no. They're the kindest people in the world. They are the people who are the ones getting not just pushed out of regular society, and that's where they go to find people like themselves who have been, frankly, dispossessed. And I was just so angry reading this bloody article where they're like, oh no, the heavy metal people, the goths are the problem. No, they're not the problem. They're lovely people, and I know because they were my people for a very long time. You know. So no, honestly, I'm not trying to pander or anything, but it really frustrates me when people say stuff like that. And it's like, well, look, it's okay to dress strangely. That's fine, you know. Right, so I would love to talk to that chappie over there. I would absolutely love to talk to him. I know he thinks I'm Milo, yeah. Hello, mate. How's it going?
All the work you've done. You've been absolutely great over the last few years.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, just here. Yeah. Yeah, I just want to say thank you for all the work you've done, because we've been watching from the sidelines for ages, and none of us actually wanted to stand up and do anything. And I know you didn't, but I just want to say thank you for actually doing this work for us.
Oh, honestly, I really appreciate that, man. I mean, you know, a bit of milkshake is really not the end of the world, you know. And to be honest with you, on such a hot day, it was a real pleasure to wash myself off. You know, it's like, sorry, but yeah, we'll get you some water to wash off if you want. But no, it was really nice. You know, now my hair's all stuck though, so you know, never mind. But no, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I tell you what, it's like, I can't believe how angry they are. Like, just so angry that I dare come and talk in their town. And intolerant, isn't it? Yeah. Sure, yeah. I tell you, can we create a bit more space? Because I mean, I feel that we can all hear, and I kind of want to walk around a bit, if that's all right. Now, because you know, when they're all pressing in, you start feeling a bit claustrophobic. You know.
No, I actually went to talk to some of these people.
Hold that for a second. It's wrong on the face of it, isn't it?
Indeed.
So it's just an argument for preserving the status quo.
Of ideas right now.
So yeah, interrupting this lady, sir. Why are you interrupting? I'm
you
trying
know.
to understand. I think I with the EU referendum or not. You know, it's wrong on the face of it, isn't it? Write your sign, please. I do support racist jokes, and I'm happy for you to believe that I am one. Would you like to chat? I love the way I look like Neo as well.
Huh? What?
Sorry.
It was a really funny
Would you like to
picture.
come over a little bit
Yeah,
so
sure,
people
why
can
the
see?
hell not?
Sorry, do you mind holding my...
Yeah, can you hold my sign up so people can see it? Oh no, don't ruin it. Come on, I spent 5 minutes on that.
What's your name, please?
Samantha Fuel.
Can I shake your hand?
Yeah, sure.
Samantha Fuel, sir.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah. Right, so can you explain your sign to me, please?
Yeah, well, I think it's pretty self-evident. I thought you getting hit with fish was funny, so I drew
That's
it.
okay.
So.
But why am I a racist?
I don't know, the jokes, like...
Jokes are racist, are they?
Well, I mean, what's the intent of the joke, I guess?
To make
like,
people laugh.
Yeah, but what is, like, where's the humor, like, derived from, I guess,
Because
is what I would...
it's absurdity. I think that there's no such thing as a racist joke in a racist society. They're always categorical and serious statements, aren't they?
I guess, yeah.
So
I mean,
to say them outside of a racist society makes it an obvious absurdity. And
I mean,
think
it
that's the joke
depends, like,
itself.
what you consider to be, like, a racist society, you know? Because, sorry, I'm not very used to, like,
That's okay.
doing this kind of
That's
thing, but... you know, there is. It's just the fact that there is still like racism within our society, you know, and you know, it's just like I
will
would
never
be, like,
eliminate
conscious
racism.
about what I'm upholding with humor, you know. I mean,
I don't think humor upholds anything. I think humor
No.
takes away from things. That's the
I
thing.
mean, it can do. Humor is like a powerful thing, you know.
Do you mind aiming that bit at your mouth?
Oh, sorry, I don't.
That's
I don't,
okay. It's
I
just
have
so
no idea
people
what
can
I'm
hear you.
doing.
No,
so
don't worry.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, like the first person that the Nazis shot in their invasion of Poland was a clown because he was mocking them.
Yes, I heard about
and that's,
that.
Yes, exactly. But that's the thing.
Yeah, it's an absolute
I'm playing
disgrace
the
that
clown
happened.
here. You know,
Yeah.
I'm here to, like you say, I'm a joke. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
I agree. I should never be running for anything.
No.
I should never be standing for any office.
No,
but
you said that with your own words, I believe.
Of course, yeah. And this is what I believe. I'm not a politician. You know, I
No.
didn't.
I know. I can
I'm
tell.
a jokester on the internet. But
Yes, me
I think
too,
that
but-
we've come to that point where, I mean, 3 years on, whether you agree with the EU referendum or not, you know,
Yeah.
whether you agree with Brexit or not, it is an absurdity that I can run as an MEP candidate now. Surely.
It is definitely absurd. Yes.
Exactly. So I may as well enjoy it, and we may as well all show our collective resistance by sending people like me to the European Parliament and telling them what we think of them. I really think we should.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that racist jokes are funny because we're not racists. We're not a racist society. We're actually a really anti-racist society.
I mean, I'd hope we are, but I feel like
we know we
there's a lot of evidence that there isn't.
Well,
but,
like where?
You know, there's just like, you know, you hear like police, the way they treat people differently. It's like it's a thing over here. You know, it's more evident probably in America, but it isn't not a problem over here as well.
I actually did some research into Black Lives Matter in England, and I found it very amusing. Because not only are they all white, you might have seen the Heathrow runway protest.
I haven't.
It was something like 24 white people complaining that Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
But if you actually look into the statistics, say deaths in police custody, black people are actually underrepresented. Black and minority ethnic people are actually underrepresented. It's mostly white people being killed in police custody, disproportionately so.
I haven't really looked
But
like
the thing is,
the actual
I actually
statistics.
have.
but
So, and again, when surveys are done about this sort of thing, If you ask people, would you be okay living with next to a neighbour of another race?
Yeah.
Less than 1% of people in this country said no. I wouldn't be okay with that. But 20% of the French said no. Like we are a massively anti-racist country, and the only places less racist than us is Scandinavia, Norway, Sweden, and Denmark.
Yeah.
That's the only place on earth that are less racist than us. So we're number 4 in the least racist places in the world.
Yeah.
So worrying about racism just seems pointless to me. We know
It
we're
doesn't.
not.
It does not seem pointless to me at all, because it is something that does affect people's lives. You know, there is cases of like, you know,
It's a small thing to worry about compared to other things,
there's
maybe.
been, like notable hate crimes to
Well,
people.
what hate crimes have happened here?
I believe there was a Polish people who had their like shed burnt down and like their house graffitied in Plymouth. So
is that racist?
I mean, isn't it? Like it was clearly
Are
it was
the
clearly
Polish
like
a race?
Huh?
Are the Polish a race?
Well, it was still like a anti-immigrant sentiment. So, you know.
Yeah, I don't think I'd class that as racism. Though.
I don't know. It's just like
and I don't
it's
know
still
what the situation was. So.
No, it was like shortly after the vote. I believe
Right.
there was like some people were, you know, there was a lot of just like get them out, burn this down or whatever. You know, there was like quite a few cases of that around here. So I think it is like, you know, I would call it anti-intellectual to just dismiss it and just say nothing is happening at all
I'm
when
not
there
saying
is.
nothing's happening. But what I'm saying is, I'll talk to you in a second, sir. I noticed you've got a leave me and leave sticker, so you're not pro EU then. Right, okay, well, we'll talk in a second. But this is the thing, like, I agree that there are things that happen, but if you compare them to sort of like the overall amount of violent crime, for example, in the UK, like hate crimes are a tiny slither. I don't think it is. Yeah, but what's your standard? Hang on. Well, then what? Don't shout then. Don't shout and interrupt her then. Right?
No, it's fine. She is welcome to join in.
Well, if you'd like to come and talk, we can talk. Well, then be quiet then. So there is never going to be a perfect world. I mean, to address that lady's points, what's your standard? You know, if less than 1% of the people of this country are racist, how much fewer can we make it?
If things are still happening, then there should just be like things done about it. Obviously, I mean, it's not like nothing is being done about it, but you know.
But what's the limiting principle? I mean, where do we stop in our attempt to eradicate racism?
I don't know. Like, I mean,
there is no
not stop. Like, I think it's not a case where you look
never
at
stop.
Like, a simple end goal of there's none of it anymore. It's all gone. You know, it's like
I don't think that'll ever happen.
No, I don't. Whether it happens or not isn't really the question. I think it's more a case of like
we just
what
need
can
more
we do to stop it happening currently.
More.
And
More.
Just, like, keep fighting that because it's
more.
Like, you know, things just don't end when you've debated that. You know.
I don't think there's ever going to be an end. I think there will always be people who are racist, but I don't think they're in any way predominant in British life.
No.
I mean, we know they're less than 1% of the population. So, are we going to oppress them? Should we send them off to gas camps or something? I mean, where does it end?
That seems like an awfully extreme thing to say about what
you
I'm
don't
saying.
know where it ends, though. You can't give me a limiting principle.
I mean, like, are you trying to argue that racists are the real oppressed people or something?
Are they not oppressed?
I mean,
it's right to oppress them. That's what I think. It's right to oppress racism.
Yeah, I think it is.
But to what extent?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a difficult thing, I suppose, but.
But then, why don't we just put them in gas camps?
Well, you're literally asking me whether we should kill people.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a ridiculous thing to argue about.
There are times when we have to kill people. There are times when, like, terrorists should be shot if they're trying to kill people.
Yeah, if they're posing a threat, if people are posing a threat to others. Like direct violent threats, then yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I do not support the death penalty in any means.
Right.
Like, I think it's just a complete absurd leap of logic.
So that's a limiting principle.
Yeah.
So you do know. So you don't want racists to be killed, right? Okay. So what should now? We can define exactly how far you want to go.
Where are you moving the goalposts?
I'm trying to understand your perspective.
Yeah.
So you don't like the death penalty. So we're never going to kill racists for just being racist, right? So do we prevent their free speech?
I mean, people can say whatever they want, you know.
Right.
I don't necessarily believe in suppressing it. I just think in countering it and, you know, just, you know.
No.
Like
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Absolutely
right?
criticizing
so
it.
So we come even further in. So you're in favor of free speech. So we don't censor the racist either. So. Why are you interrupting this lady, sir? Why are you interrupting this lady? Are you aware that I'm not Milo Yiannopoulos yet? You know I don't work for Alex Jones, right? Yeah. Right, sorry about that.
Right.
So yeah, no. So we shouldn't censor racists. We shouldn't do anything violent towards racists.
No.
So far, I'm in complete agreement. I agree. We shouldn't do these things.
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily believe in like platforming racists either, but.
But who decides that though?
I don't know. It's just like a public thing, I suppose. But
Because I mean, if we could find a racist in the crowd, I would talk to them and give them a platform.
Yeah.
Because I would like to interrogate their beliefs so I could make them look ridiculous.
Yeah, I guess we're literally standing in the marketplace of ideas right now.
Actually, yes, that's exactly it. Yes. That's precisely it, and that's why I've come here, because I want a marketplace of ideas. Because I mean, like, racism is absurd on the face of it. Like, not all people are the same in any one given race.
Yeah.
So to make literally a sweeping statement that's categorical about all of them, it's absurd. Why are you interrupting an anti-racist speech, sir? I am literally saying that racism is a bad thing and explaining why. Why are you interrupting this? Racism is bad. Why are you opposed to this idea, sir?
You're racist!
So, but no, but I like the no platform in question, because then it's determinate on the person who has the platform, isn't it?
I suppose it is. Yeah. It's
So,
like.
so I mean, if you were running this, you wouldn't allow a racist to talk, right?
Absolutely not. No,
Right.
I believe it would just be giving them free air. That
But I think that really works, though. I mean, you're aware of the 2011 Question Time where Nick Griffin was given a platform, aren't you?
Yeah, unfortunately, but
that ruined the BNP. It destroyed them because everyone saw that they were actually a racist party.
Yeah.
You know, and that's good, is it not? Like, we want to ruin the BNP, don't we?
I mean, yeah, but
so it works.
I mean, I guess
You
that's
okay?
a shared game, but it's just.
Are you okay? You look a bit angry. Do you want to talk? Yeah, okay. Oh.
Look at this crazy lady. Holy smokes.
Wow. Just wait till Milo turns up then. If you think I'm narcissistic, blimey. I've got to go on a diet because I keep seeing pictures of myself. It's awful. Yeah, I asked him, yeah. He's funny. By his admission, he's a narcissist. Well, we might have something relevant to say. Sorry, right, should we... Is there anything else you'd like to say before I move on to talking to this lady?
Yeah. Huh?
Is there anything else you'd like to say, sorry?
Oh, yeah, actually there is. Hang on.
You're not going to assault me with something, are you?
No, of course not. Don't be silly.
Well, I've already been assaulted today, so...
I'm not that kind of person. Don't worry. I believe in, like... Huh? No,
Would you
no. No, absolutely not.
Can I get a selfie with you?
No. Oh,
I like to show people that I'm happy to talk to people I disagree with.
Yeah.
In the marketplace of ideas.
Yeah, right.
Oh, come on, it's not that bad.
Don't elect me to anything. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Promising you now.
I stand by anything that you're going to play
Don't
through.
elect me to do shit.
Yeah, don't.
I will be a terrible elected representative.
Yeah.
Don't elect
It's
me to
totally
anything.
true. I
Don't
stand
do
by it all. I shouldn't be able to
Promising
run.
you now, you don't
But I
want
have
run
to.
these.
I stand by it.
Dummy. Idiot.
I stand by it.
Now women are also involved in politics.
I love
Defend
it.
each
I wouldn't
society.
say those things if I didn't stand by
I
them.
will be a terrible elected representative. Don't elect me to anything. Don't do it. Great job trivializing
You stuck it to the man. Well done.
I will be a terrible elected
I'd
representative.
be awful. Awful in every way. I mean, I could have just told you this live. You don't need a recording. I'll tell you live. I'm doubtless going to be a terrible representative, but that's better than every other politician who'll lie to you and say they're going to be a good one. Should we allow someone else to speak now? I think we probably should. Okay. How long is it? Okay, come on. We're not going to have 5 minutes. Come on. Come on. Okay, do you want to take the mic out, Johnny? I think we've had enough now. But it's 5 minutes and other people are waiting. I think it seems impolite. There's a Polish chap who wants to talk. There we go. We've turned it off. Thank you. Sorry, but I mean, if it was only like 1 minute or something, we'd be fine, you know. Can I speak to someone else now? Thank you. He's behind you. You're okay. Right.
Hello?
Honestly, I stand
Hello?
by it all. I don't know why you think that's. Do you think that it's good when politicians lie to you? You want to be lied to by politicians because they're all terrible representatives. You know, they're all bad. Every single one of them is terrible. But I'm the only one who'll tell you that. They won't tell you that because they need the illusion. They need you to believe that they're not going to be terrible, but they're all bad. I promise. I've met loads of them. They're really terrible. This is why I'm doing it. It's like, well, if liars like... Yeah, exactly. They're not honest. They're not honest. I promise you. But, well, I guess if you listen, then you could. Anyway, right.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Stan.
Do you mind holding that, sir? Nice to meet you, sir.
Hi.
How you doing?
Really great shaking your hand after all you've done.
Oh, thank you very much.
Very appreciated.
I caused a bit of trouble, you know.
Right, so I'd like to say, first of all, that I've actually experienced much more xenophobic abuse from the Remain side than from the Leave side.
Is that because you're pro-national sovereignty?
That is, yeah. I'm pro-Polish national sovereignty,
Of course.
pro-British national sovereignty.
Can you angle it so that's facing...
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
There we go, perfect.
Yep. Not used to this.
That's okay, don't worry about it.
Yeah, so whenever I speak out pro-Leave online, speak to people, I obviously get xenophobic attacks, and people bring up my Polish background.
As if they have a claim to what you believe because of who you are?
Yep, and whenever I'm an active member on the UKIP Liberalists page, and when I went to my UKIP local branch, everywhere, very well received, feel at home.
Great. Honestly, that's the best thing I've heard all day. Thank you.
So that's coming from somebody of a Polish background. Now, I say Polish background, and this is the point I wanted to make, is that I'm actually here as a result of the totalitarianism of the 20th century.
Really?
So my grandparents came here during Second World War because of Nazis invading Poland, and then were not able to return because of the communists there. So I'm still here, because it's a wonderful country. Yeah.
Honestly, I am sorry what the Nazis and communists did to Poland. It's awful.
It is awful.
In every way.
And seeing that kind of stuff happen sort of throughout the 20th century has made me very wary and cautious of big superstates and sort of
understandably so.
This burgeoning totalitarian system. So that's one of the reasons I'm standing up against it.
Thank you. No, I think it's genuinely important because, like you say, you're in favour of Polish independence, Polish self-determination. As I
am, yes.
You know, I mean, it's not a particularly big issue personally, but if in principle everyone's like, well, should this nation be have self-determination? Obviously, you know, there's not even a question in my mind.
Of course, being in Britain, I obviously speak primarily from a British
When it would point out. Yeah. Is everything okay back here? Great. Yeah. Sure.
Nervous.
That's okay. Do you mind? Yeah, I'll stand. Are we still fascists? Oh my goodness. Point out the Germans, sir, and we'll go fight them for you. Oh wait, he's with the Germans. Right, sorry. Right, when you talk, if you can have that pointed at your mouth. That'd be
Okay.
great. Yep. Okay. How can I help you, please? What's your name? Sorry.
Vanessa.
Vanessa. Lovely to meet you, Vanessa.
Thank you. I felt I just had to come and counteract some of the claims from the lady who is before this gentleman you've just. I'm talking in.
Where there have been 27